Hey, well, we made it. We're in Canada and we're fairly far into Canada. We're at Calgary right now. We did pretty good. The day was a fine day and everything was working pretty good. We just got, again, a slightly later start than we should have, but all that would have done is put us in here hopefully before the, the darkness and the rain. But I'll get to that in a moment. All right. So this morning we took off from Great Falls. It took a little while to get everything packed up, get the dogs put together, the kids organized, everything repacked in the cars, and took off. We headed up a pretty nice, straight, actually relatively dull chunk of road, and that went pretty nice. I think we were on a highway. Crap, I want to say it was. I forgot 15. I think it was 15. I'll have to double check, but I'm pretty sure it was Interstate 15. Took that straight up to a little tiny city called Sweetgrass. There is a nice rest stop right before the border, so we pulled in the rest stop. Everybody got the dogs and stuff resituated, which, as it turned out, was kind of a good thing to do, because as soon as we get to the border, we go through the border and the guy's like, "Hey, do you have any tobacco or alcohol?" I was like, "No." "Do you have any, illegal junk?" And I was like, "No." "Do you have any guns?" I was like, "Yes." And he was like, "Oh, are they air guns?" I was like, "No." And he was like, "Oh, are they like rifles?" I was like, "Yeah." And he was like, "Handguns?" "Yeah." And he's like, "Oh." And I was like, "Oh, Jesus." And he's like, "All right, here's the yellow slip. Whose are they?" And I was like, "The guy behind me, like 2 cars or whatever." And he was like, "Oh my gosh, you're carrying someone else's guns in a handgun?" I was like, "Relax, Canada man." But he wouldn't, because he doesn't have a sense of humor, because he's a fucking Canada man. Anyways, we pull over into the little lot, go inside, tell the guy's like, "Oh, did the Mounties give you a permit for this?" And I was like, "No, your website said we didn't need a permit for it because it's a handgun with a 4-inch or greater barrel." And that was fine, because if it was a tiny handgun, all of those are restricted, not restricted. Uh, there's restricted and then there's banned. So anything that's a handgun that's like got a tiny barrel is all banned. Anything that's a handgun just gets you attitude from the damn border crossing guy. Long story short, and there's a long story. We waited 2.5 hours at the border to have Erin. She was nice enough to grab the gun and run back over to Sunburst, little city Sunburst. She wound up having to go to some sort of crazy biker bar, and there was a guy in there that was a gunsmith shop or whatever, and weapons handler guy, and he offered to buy the gun from her, which I thought was pretty interesting, because guns are worth a chunk of money. I always find that weird, but she's like, "No." So what he wound up doing is they didn't have anywhere to ship it to right away, so he's storing it for them. Gave her a receipt for the gun or whatever, and now I guess all you have to do is just call back and say there's a place in Kenai, which is near where they're moving, and they can just ship it to Kenai. All that for a handgun, instead of just saying, "Hey, it's in a locked case inside of a gun vault inside of a big locked truck, and you're heading to Alaska. Carry on." Like, anyways, so that made a wonderful first impression. So I got to hang out and get a nice extra tan, which I think is slightly a bit of a burn, but oh well, it's all right. I've done that a time or two this season already. But we did that for a little bit. That was kind of a thing, and then we got back on the road, and all the highways, it seems like, here are AB: Alberta Highway 4, Alberta Highway 2, etc. So we cruised on down the highways, got to some little Lethbridge place, wandered into a Burger King, found out they don't have iced tea, because that's just something they don't have. They do have poutine, which no one here had heard of it. And I was like, "You guys didn't do any Canada, like, look it up?" And they're like, "Why?" And I'm like, "Poutine, it's like French fries and cheese curds and gravy." And they're like, And I'm like, "At Burger King, you can get bacon added to it." And everyone's like, "No, let's not do that." So even the milk was different enough that, well, everyone noticed, which was kind of fun. So, yeah, so we did that. So grabbed a burger at Burger King, got back on the highway. I got turned around a little bit because the exit had it was a get on only from the other direction, and the direction that we were coming from, there wasn't one, so everyone else figured out how to turn around quicker than me, which was nice. But since I was leading everything, that was a pain in the butt. So I finally got myself turned around and got back on the highway, and blazed on down the highway. I had a rest stop or two, got the dogs out and looked around a little bit and did really good. Made some really good good time. We saw a gigantic roundabout, a roundabout that was like in the middle of like two highways. They were like rural route highways though, so they were like a 2-lane road that had 80 mile an hour. Sorry, I'm in Canada. There's no longer 80 mile an hour speed limits. 110 kilometers per hour speed limits. So we zipped on down that, zipped around the roundabout, and came pulling into Calgary. But as we were getting to Calgary, you can just see these dark, crazy, ominous clouds, and they're right in the direction of where we're kind of heading west, and we need to go like northwest, and all the clouds are off to the north. And sure enough, as our road's taking us down the hill, we're getting more and more north, and sure enough, driving into blacker and blacker stuff, and it was just coming down, just insane rain. So like to the point where you like flip the fast windshield wipers on, and it was almost enough to see, almost enough to see on a road I'm not familiar with, in a country with laws I'm not quite sure about, with speed limits all in the metric system. So that was it was fun. It was cool. It was a challenge, and thankfully Gary had like a GPS on him, so he was giving me directions over to find little walkie-talkie. These are pretty damn handy here in Canada because texting I believe is still free, but calls are 20 cents a minute now. So that's the thing. So I gotta watch out for that. But yeah, so that's pretty handy. So we get to the hotel, not too bad. The Holiday Inn Express. Nothing here is different like a regular Holiday Inn Express, except the parking lot. So this thing here is like wedged between a bunch of like a strip mall and a bunch of like apartment homes, I'm guessing they are, and a 3 or 4 dealerships. There's like a Honda dealership, something, I don't know. There's another big old roundabout down the street. All the parking on the street is both free and full. And trying to park a big machine like this, we wound up parking in the little strip mall thing, and there's all these signs that say, permit parking or whatever, and we're just like, everything's closed at the moment, and all the signs on the doors, they all open at random times, different times. One opens at 6, one opens at 8, one opens at 11, and they close at funny times, like 5 and 7, and it's kind of weird. So unlike the malls and stuff in America, a lot of those kind of places have pretty consistent times. All of these ones all have completely random different times. But, it is what it is. So, different country. And, oh yeah, I forgot to call Discover. Had to do that tonight and tell them that I can use my card here so I can actually buy things. But, yeah, that's about it. Discover. Wonderful, nice, friendly people like always. So, Discover, friendly people. Canada, so far, very strange people. Especially asking them things like, hey, you work here for X amount of years. If we park that machine over there, is it okay? And it says like, well, maybe. I think it will be okay. What time are you leaving? Are you sure you can't park on the street? Yeah, you can park over there, but it was like, is that just a no? Like, don't do it. It's like, it's always bad. I get that was probably a no, but it was like, just find parking on the street. And I was like, how many blocks away, or in this case, how many kilometers away do you want me to park? Meters, maybe I should say meters, because it's not kilometers. But anyways, so tomorrow we have another 8 hours ahead of us, and we're getting our act together, so I think we're doing great at this point here. So all right, onward. We're out of Alberta tomorrow, and if all goes well, we should be in Dawson's Creek. So, well, one night in Calgary, as long as our trucks are there and non-ticketed, we're set. All right, I'll talk to you later.